Hello and welcome to GILES the SEX Therapist, a better sex guide for men. This show contains some explicit material. Today, relax, don't do it, or prolonging your orgasm and stopping premature ejaculation, the bane of many men. First of all, Giles, let's look at the three main ways of coming or of not coming.
Hi, Steve. Yes, you've got premature ejaculation, which is a known name for when a guy is experiencing a delayed in climax. You also got another term for it, which is coitus reservatus, and you've got dysorgasmia, which is the clinical term for it. It's very many reasons why people can come too quickly or can't come at all. They're basically psychological or physical. If they're physical, you need to go to see your GP or go to your gum clinic. And if it's psychological, you need to go and see your GP or go onto the internet and try to find out exactly where your nearest therapist who is actually happy to work with sex therapy. Not all therapists are happy to work with sex therapy, so make sure you choose very, very carefully.
Now, give me two practical techniques I can use to prolong my orgasm.
You've got the squeeze technique. If you actually hold your erection in your hand, be you left-handed or you right-handed, and you notice towards the tip of it, you've got the gland, which is the head, some people call it. Now, just beneath the head or the gland, you can squeeze it with your first finger and thumb. Now, if you squeeze it quite firmly, you start to prevent the blood flow going around it. You will then start seeing your penis to go sappy, quite soft, semi-flaccid. That way you can then prevent it from getting to an orgasm. And you've got stop and go, which is very, very similar to if you're having intercourse. You know, you do a bit of penetration or you do a bit of wanking. You then just do a soft, slow wank, stimulate your balls, finger yourself, play with your head, then go back to going to some rampant vex. So you really, you're teasing yourself in this sense. You're teasing your sexual behavior. Another hypnotic technique is a clasping hand. This is where you would go to a qualified hypnotist or hypnotherapist, and they would actually plant anchors through positive reinforcement and positive suggestion. So when you're actually experiencing your difficulty, you can actually, it could be by the therapist actually saying, under hypnosis to you, touch your first finger with your thumb when you're actually having sex, and just keep on doing that, gripping, heightening your arousal or heightening positive reinforcement of actually coming in a reasonable time rather than a prolonged. But there's also many other techniques which you can actually use, like hypnosis, to actually help to enhance your sexual behaviour in that way.
Right, so let's talk about that. So I can actually use my grey matter to slow down my orgasm, can I? So how would I do that?
Yeah, totally. You can go down into a meditatory. There are books out there, but please, guys, be very, very careful. There are books on hypnosis in the libraries. It is far better. I recommend that you either go to a hypnotist and say, look, can you teach me how to do self-hypnosis? I'm interested in actually prolonging my sexual penetration or masturbation or whatever. They're not going to laugh at you. If you're gay, go to another guy. If you're straight and you're happy to talk to a woman, not many women would be happy to actually discuss this sort of thing with you. So you'd probably be far better going to a male hypnotist, hypnotherapist or psychotherapist who touches on hypnosis. Do a journey. There's so many things you can do. You've got the journey of the mind, which is almost like visualizing, drawing on all your senses. Could be a place where you actually first had a sexual experience. It could be a really romantic time you had with your partner in the countryside. Just allow your mind to really go along with it, and that way you can actually hasten your orgasm or you can actually slow it. It's entirely up to you. Another term is in psychotherapy or hypnosis is a control room of the mind. It's basically where people who are maybe computer literate and their work consists of looking at screens and monitors and switches and stuff like that, and you can actually visualize like your ordinary sexual behavior at being 0 and then on your highest regime at 10, and you can actually push up that dial till 10. But I would like to urge anybody who does have heart problems or blood pressure difficulties please consult your GP first, because I would not like you to actually end up being a statistic under coronary difficulties due to excessive sexual behaviour. So please make sure you do look after yourself safe in that regard.
Right, so I think we've all experienced moments where our cocks just don't behave themselves. Is there psychotherapy treatment for premature ejaculation? Can that be treated?
Yes, it can. Now, as I touched on previously, if it's a physical disorder, then there's not really much a psychotherapist can help you with, because obviously there's physical reasons why your body's not allowing you to do anything. But as soon as you have a psychological aspect of it, that's the key thing. Anything we experience in life can have a psychological aspect to it. So you really do need to make sure you have a healthy mindset. Don't get anxious about it. The worst thing you can actually do about anything to do with your body, especially when it's around sex, is get anxious, because it just makes it worse. There are various things you can do. Hypnosis is very, very good. And the control room of the mind, which I touched upon, and ego state therapy. These things, which I actually trained in I did trauma therapy under hypnosis, is where your brain is considered parts. If you actually say to yourself, a part of me is feeling really fragmented today, or a part of me is feeling really horny today, or a part of me is feeling a bit sick today. That's exactly the same sort of concept it is with the parts therapy or ego state therapy. You look at the part of your mind who may be a bit weaker, and weaker does not mean it's wrong, it doesn't mean it's right. It's just not as strong as another part of you. The therapist will actually draw upon the stronger part of you. It could be, an ego of your partner or something like that, which you have a perception in your own mindset, and actually have them and their support and their love help you with it. There's also a lot you can actually ask your partner to do, and there's also a lot you can actually ask of yourself. That is, don't get stressed. If you lose your erection or you actually come too quickly, just accept it, acknowledge it. It's not the end of the world. Get rid of that anxiety, because as soon as you start prolonging anxiety, then it's just going to spiral out of control, and you're going to be a right mess.
And actually, your partner can help you with this, can they?
Totally. I've been, my first boyfriend, bless his heart, I'm not going to name him for legal reasons, but he had a difficulty in actually not coming quick enough. And I remember when I was with him that I'd wank him off, and I'd try so hard not to swap hands, because I would literally feel, oh my God, if I swap hands, he's going to think, oh, I'm taking too long. He's going to get anxious. It's going to make him worse. So there I would be really struggling, 10, 20 minutes trying to get him. Are you coming? Are you close? Are you close? Are you close? And he go, yeah, getting there, and you think, oh God. And the worst thing is to actually stop wanking or being intimate with your partner, because it's just going to exacerbate the whole thing, because they're thinking, oh, my partner doesn't want to wank with me anymore because I take too long, or I come too quickly, or whatever. Your partner needs to understand. We'll be touching upon this in the A to Z in the next podcast, and that is communication. Talk to your partner, share your concern, and let them know how they can help you and support you with that.
And what do you think about sex groups or forums on the internet?
They have their place. Sex groups, when I think of sex groups, I think of gaydar straight away. Now, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot here, but I wouldn't say gaydar is a very good supporting network for anything which is going wrong, because it's very much about seeing queen sort of thing. Everything's perfect, everything's beautiful and fluffy. Whereas if you've got problems with erections and stuff like that, it's not a place to actually go to, I feel, because there are plenty of groups which are in reality, not in virtual world, which you can access through your GP or through your gum clinic, or even if you actually ask your sex therapist or your therapist, psychotherapist, they will actually have loads and loads of information of where sex groups are concerning anything and everything from swingers clubs to problems with getting boners and problems in getting, everything and anything, because we live in the world of support groups, and it's a very confidential as well.
Well, thanks very much, Giles. So Frankie was probably right. You do need to relax before you don't do it. You can find out more by going to GILESthesextherapist.com, that's all one word, and do come back again soon and download some more Giles the Sex Therapist. So find out more by going to GILESthesextherapist.com, that's Giles with an I. The presenter was Steve Campen with sex therapist Giles Dee-Shapland, and is a creative radio production.